What's going on, everyone? It is your host, Mike Patton, coming in solo on this episode. Of course, week one in the NFL just went down. We only have one team that won in the AFC South, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to talk about them versus the Colts a little later. As you notice in the background, which way am I leaning? Left, right? Okay, this way. You notice got the little tour in the South, AFC South in the background. A little something for you. But first, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Titans lost 16-15. Wasn't necessarily the most exciting offensive game. One touchdown and let's see how many field goals. It had to be like, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. He had a lot of field goals, basically had a lot of field goals. He had 5 from Nick Foles, which is great for the Titans because, of course, they didn't have very dependable kicking throughout last season, and to start this season with dependable kicking is a good thing for them. However, there was a lot of not good things in the game in terms of offensively. Offensively, you're looking at we're going to start with Ryan Tannehill, 16-34, 198 yards, 3 interceptions. Now, a lot of times people look at how interceptions happen and how they went about with the interceptions, things like that. But these interceptions, pretty bad, to be honest. One interception, he was trying to throw it basically over the defender deep to DeAndre Hopkins. And, of course, it was undercut. One of them was he was throwing it to Chris Moore deep, and he underthrew it. And the other interception it was almost like he was trying to throw it on the back shoulder for DeAndre Hopkins, but the defender was already there. So in all these instances, it wasn't necessarily the greatest throws. And also to add to that one, he did miss 2 touchdown passes to wide open players. He overthrew Chika Kwanko on a pass trick play, basically down the sideline. He was wide open, overthrew him. Then he had Tajay Spears, rookie running back, on a wheel pattern out of the backfield, wide open. He throws it too far to the sideline. Now, all in all, wasn't the most accurate game for Ryan Tannehill. Of course, we do also have to remember it is one game. It doesn't mean the season is over for the Tennessee Titans. Now, they do face the Los Angeles Chargers in the next game. However, if you've watched the Titans since they've been there since, 1999, you will notice that they tend to win the games no one thinks they can win. And I'm betting a lot of people are not thinking they can win against the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll see what happens. Now, I want to say this. Defensively, they did some things defensively. I mean, they played well enough to win the game. You had 4 sacks. You had an interception from Amani Hooker. I mean, they did a lot of great things to win the game. They just didn't get enough offensively to win this game. If you give up 16 points, you should win the game. And just they didn't get enough offensively. Just to go dabble back offensively, Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 63 yards. He was averaging 4 yards per carry. I don't believe he got enough carries. That's just me. I know that Tim Kelly's mixing it up, and I did think he called a good game. I just think Derrick Henry should have been out there more. As far as the game, I mean, he called a good game. He put them in positions to make plays to win the game. However, it just didn't come out that way from execution. I don't think it was for lack of trying or lack of creativity from Tim Kelly, and I can't say he called a bad game. I don't think he did. Just have to execute better. And also, only 2 receptions for Treylon Burks. He didn't get very many targets either. I thought was very interesting as well. I mean, 2 receptions, 18 yards. He had a end around. They ran to him, things like that. But to me, got to find a way to get him the ball just a little bit more to get him into the flow of the game, D-Hop into the flow of the game, and get this offense going. We'll see what happens next week. You can't just slide at the Saints, the Saints defense, but the Saints defense did a good job as well, and you got to give them credit. But they do have to be the Titans have to be better offensively. They just have to be better. offensively. It just is what it is. I'm pretty sure they'll probably say that this week, or that they will. The defense will never put it on the offense. Offense will never put it on the defense. Just this is just me saying I think the offense can be better, and hopefully for them it will be better. I would say the offensive line, pretty solid in some aspects. In other aspects, not. I would say that Andre Dillard, that was a little bit interesting in terms of the protection there. I mean, they were going at him in terms of power moves, and he wasn't able to hold his base there, which is a little troubling to see because some of the players that he's going to have to face this season. So hopefully they can get that worked out. The Titans did expose Trevor. The young offensive tackle for the Saints on the left tackle. I can't remember exactly his name. Trevor Penning. That's his name, Trevor Penning. They did expose him a lot. Arden Key definitely exposed him a lot. He had a great game, his first game as a Tennessee Titan. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that definitely had to be a little disturbing in terms of Andre Dillard, but great to see in terms from Arden Key and that defense and how they played. They played well enough to win the game. Just couldn't get the stops at the end, of course, but giving up 16 points, that's playing well enough to win a game, in my opinion. I'm going to talk about the Jaguars and the Colts next, but first we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on Touring the AFC South. We are recapping the week that was, week 1 in the AFC South.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484. Or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
Welcome back to Touring the AFC South. Of course, we're going to talk about now, like I mentioned, the Jaguars and the Colts. Now, that was the Jaguars and Colts was the first game you saw rookie Anthony Richardson on the field. Now, many thought it was going to be bad, and they remember the 6-17 performance in the preseason. However, he was, 24-30? No, not 24-32, 24-37. Let me get it correct. With one touchdown, one interception. Not bad at all. He did, he ran the touchdown in. It seemed like, in some ways he was still trying to fill things out. But, of course, I believe some of that was because of, the offensive coordinator as well in terms of the trying to get things together as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there and what's going on and, how he continues to develop and grow as the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. But, I do like what I saw. However, I do not like the interception. However, I'm going to go into that just a little bit later in terms of that one because we're going to talk about the gentleman that picked off the pass as well. But, he tried to fit one in, basically. But, we'll get into that a little bit later. One thing that was missing for the Colts was the running game. Anthony Richardson, check these numbers out. Anthony Richardson, 10 carries, 40 yards, 1 touchdown. The rest of the running backs, quarterbacks, whoever, because Anthony Richardson is a quarterback. But anyway, the rest of the people running the football for the Colts, 16 carries, 26 yards. That's not going to get it done. Not going to win any games that way. You're just not going to do it, in my opinion. So, got to be better than that. Got to be better than that on the ground. They definitely missed Jonathan Taylor. You can be mad at him, not like him, whatever, but they missed Jonathan Taylor. They do. Now, in terms of the passing game, Michael Pittman Jr. 8 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. And he showed a little bit of speed on him out there, breaking out for 1 touchdown. But to me, even though he did that, he still doesn't. It still doesn't mean he's a number one wide receiver to me. He's still a number two. I mean, people can tell me that he's a number one wide receiver and all those different things. In my opinion, I still think he's a number two wide receiver, and they need a number one wide receiver there. That's just my opinion, my thoughts. But anyway, he definitely had a good game. One guy I want to talk about in particular that was running the football for the Colts, Deion Jackson. 2 fumbles, man. 2 fumbles. You cannot fumble the football. Cannot fumble the football, especially twice in one game. That's going to get you seated on the bench by the coach and may not get you back out there very much either. So there we go. Not a good thing there. All right. As far as defensively, I'm going to throw out there, you had Zaire Franklin, 18 tackles, 18 total tackles. Wow. That's an amazing effort. You saw Shaq Leonard doing his thing. That was good for the Colts fans to see, and just for NFL football fans to see Shaq Leonard out there bouncing around, playing, engaged in the game. I mean, whether you like the Colts or not, he is one of the best linebackers when healthy in the NFL. It was great to see. I also do like the heads-up play of the Colts defense. For those that not aware of what I'm talking about, there was a play where Trevor Lawrence threw the football, or people thought he threw the football, and the ball was bouncing around, whatever. And then DeForest Buckner picks it up, and we get a big man touchdown because he rumbles, bumbles, and stumbles and lays out across the goal line for the touchdown, which, I guess I channeled my inner Chris Berman, but I just ain't got it like that. But anyway, it was definitely a great play by DeForest Buckner. I mean, he's still getting it done out there on the field, and he's still getting us all. And you saw him very pumped up on the sideline after it happened too. So I definitely enjoyed watching that. The Colts didn't come out there and lay down because everyone thought they were not going to be a great team this year, and they played hard. And I definitely got to tip my hat to them for doing so. They just didn't have enough to get it done. Now we're going to flip it over to the other side. That would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the team everyone is picking to win this division. And, they definitely showed that they have that potential in this game. I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence, 24-32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception now. You have Travis Etienne, 18 carries, 77 yards, 1 touchdown. Tank Bigsby got in the end zone. Of course, Calvin Ridley, the big acquisition who they made last year, was suspended. 8 receptions, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, the synergy between Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley was very evident. I mean, you see Trevor Lawrence kind of rolling out, throws it to Ridley. Ridley catches it, touchdown, boom. And they made a couple big plays in this game and showed why they could be one of the more dangerous combinations in the NFL. Not just the AFC South, the NFL. So, I mean, definitely a good comeback game for Calvin Ridley to kind of reintroduce himself to the NFL. And, if this is what's going on right now, I hate to see it when they really get in sync. Ooh, it could be scary. Those could be scary hours right there. Real scary hours. But, definitely was a good thing for them. And then, Zay Jones. I can't forget Zay Jones. No, I like to call him, Bruce Leroy, because if you see him, you understand why I call him Bruce Leroy. But, it's all in fun. If Zay Jones ever hears this, it's all in fun. Hey, it's all jokes, man. But, hey, I enjoy watching you play. But he caught a pass in the back right corner in the end zone. Pretty improbable catch, pretty high degree difficulty, drags the feet, gets his knee down, touchdown, great play. Definitely, you can see with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have a depth of weapons. I mean, Evan Ingram got involved too, a couple big catches too. They just have a depth of weapons, and it's going to be interesting just to see how all those mouths get fed offensively because, of course, somebody's going to get left out. Speaking of somebody getting left out, one guy that did is Christian Kirk, 1 reception, 9 yards. Of course, everybody can't eat every game, but as long as they're all on the same page, the Eagles are checked at the door. I'm pretty sure they'll be okay, and there'll be games where he steps up and has big games as well. So this game, it just wasn't it for him. But hey, they won the game. That's the biggest thing for them. That's probably the only thing they need to be caring about. But one other thing they need to be caring about is turnovers. Turnovers. Now, they scored 31 points. Probably could have scored more if they didn't turn the ball over. They had 3 fumbles offensively. They only lost 1. Then they had the interception from Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence was responsible for 2 of those turnovers. Of course, aforementioned fumble that DeForest Buckner picked up and ran in for a touchdown, and then the interception. Now, while the Jaguars can be potent offensively, they cannot win big games turning the ball over and being careless with the football. 3 fumbles, 3 fumbles. They only lost 1, but still 3 fumbles and an interception. That doesn't win you big games. Now, and going against the Kansas City Chiefs next week, you're not going to win turning the ball over 2 times, let alone giving the opponent this many chances to get turnovers. Just not going to win that way. It is what it is. But, definitely a interesting game, and it kind of proves my point about the Jacksonville Jaguars. For those that aren't aware, I've been saying all offseason, the Jacksonville Jaguars can average 30 points a game. I repeat, the Jacksonville Jaguars can average 30 points a game. The question is, can they do so and clean up the turnovers? Because they scored 31 points and had 2 turnovers where basically, a fumble and interception. Those don't happen. They be closer to 40. Like I said, scary hours with all those weapons in Jacksonville. But of course, I got to talk about the defense because there was a particular gentleman that a lot of people are trying to figure out what he's going to do going to last year of his contract. And in this game, he came out and he showed up and he showed out. That would be Mr. Josh Allen with 3 sacks. 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3 sacks in his first game this season. Now, I wonder if he's going to be able to keep it up. Trayvon Walker did have 1 as well, so I can't leave him out. But, the Jaguars are able to get pressure on the quarterback, then they become an even more dangerous team. That was the one dynamic that they were missing last year defensively. They were tackling the ball in terms of Olaquan, who they brought over from Atlanta to play linebacker for them. They have a top defensive back in Tyson Campbell, which he did pick off a pass from Anthony Richardson, which it was a basically a pattern that he basically dropped back and picked off the pass. If Anthony Richardson puts more lift on the pass, it goes right over Tyson Campbell's head. However, he didn't. He tried to drive it in, and Tyson Campbell was right there. But they do have all the components to be a pretty good defense. They just need a pass rush. If they get this from Josh Allen, again, might be scary hours there. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, it definitely was a solid effort from them defensively and offensively. Just got to clean up those little things. But, hopefully it's week 1 jitters for them, in Jacksonville fans. But, a lot loose with the football, and that isn't good. We're going to have one more game to talk about. We've got the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on Touring AFC South with your host, Mike Patton.
You ever missed your mom's home-cooked meals? Well, you're not always able to get to those, but you are able to get to H&T's Home Cooking. Established in 2005, Patty Palin and her staff go out 6 days a week to create some of the best home-style meals you can taste and at a fair price. So if you're in Nashville and you like chicken and dressings, green beans, macaroni and cheese, and other things, stop by H&T's Home Cooking. Their address is 2264 Murfreesboro Pike, Nashville, Tennessee 37217. And they are open Monday through Thursday and Sunday 11 to 6:30 and Friday 11 to 7. And if you want to order online, of course, the option is available as well at hthomecooking.com, or you can call 615-367-0049. H&T's Home Cooking, food for your soul.
All right, and we are back. And the last team we're going to talk about is the Houston Texans. Now, that isn't a coincidence that they're the last team we're going to talk about. And I know some people have them picked last in the division. Stop it. It was pure coincidence that they were the last team I talked about. Okay, got it. Clear. We good. Okay. All right. Now they went up to Baltimore and take on the Baltimore Ravens. Did not come out well. Lost 25-9. They did fight though. However, I will say the defense kind of mucked up the game. You know, you had Denzel Perryman, the veteran linebacker, with 11 total tackles in the game, and that was interesting. You know, he did his thing. You didn't really have a total amount of stands out. Yeah, Steven Nelson with an interception, but they did kind of keep them in the game a little bit, which was good. But I would say more that the Baltimore Ravens kept them in the game because it just wasn't clicking for them offensively, and it just was a little rough to see, especially if you're a Baltimore fan. Now, do I think it will be better offensively? Yes. It's just a new system and a bunch of guys that have been used to Greg Roman's system as well. So we'll see what happens as that system as that team develops and gets used to the new offense with Greg Monken. I'm pretty sure a lot of Georgia fans are missing him right now that Mike Bobo is back and being their offensive coordinator. But, we'll see what happens there. It just wasn't necessarily, I would say D'Amico Ryans probably wanted to see this team win, but just right now they don't have the horses. They just do not have the horses. Speaking of rookie quarterbacks, I did speak of Anthony Richardson, but it would be wrong of me not to mention CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud actually was 28 of 44, which you never want to see a rookie throw that many times. But anyway, that's another story for another day. 242 yards, did not throw an interception or a touchdown, but did fumble the football. Can't fumble that football. Hold on to the football. Of course, nice effort, but it wasn't necessarily a standout effort. But of course, he is still a rookie. It is his first game. So I'm not riding out on him and just writing in declaration that this is this or this is that on him then. No. It just is what it is. He's going to grow and learn as a rookie. That's all. That's it. I still think he's a very talented quarterback, and I still think that he's going to continue to grow in this league. Basically, that's what I think about him. Of course, Damian Pierce is the guy that everyone keys on. And of course, 11 carries, 38 yards. Wasn't necessarily the game that he was looking for, but he caught everyone by surprise a little bit more last year. This year, they were ready for him. They were waiting for him, and they basically shut him down. No, shut him down. Shut him down. Shut him down. Okay, I ain't going to start doing that now. But, basically they, shut him down, and it is what it is. As far as the defensively and offensively, this team still has got a ways to go. We'll see what happens in the next outing. But all in all, wasn't necessarily the best weekend for the AFC South. Some teams still trying to get it together. Some teams looked a little better, and players looked better than what people thought. And some players just did not look good. Now, some of that could be because they didn't play in preseason, or some didn't play in preseason. Some of that could just be because of the matchups. It could be a litany of things. However, there's always next week. And there's always these words, any given Sunday. So, you always remember those, and anything can happen and will happen because it is the National Football League. Now, I thank you all for tuning in to the AFC South recap of week 1. I am your host, Mike Patton. You can find me on Twitter at MikePatton82. That's MikePatton 82 on Twitter. Or, I'm sorry, the artist formerly known as Twitter. They're throwing up the X now, but there's only one X in my world. That's DMX. But, the artist formerly known as Twitter, you can find me at Mike Patton 82, MikePatton 82. And of course, you can find me on Instagram and on Threads at that's THA, not THE, _general _MP. Of course, touring the AFC South, you can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple. You can find it on iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcasts, you name it, we are there. YouTube, hello everybody. We are on YouTube as well. So go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and drop your comments, your thoughts. Hey, you liked what I said, didn't like what I said. Hey, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Go ahead and post some comments. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Touring the AFC South. Look forward to doing these recaps each and every week. We're out. Peace.